What is up, my fellow card folk? I am very excited to do another Vanguard Zero tier list. This is for the English version as of September 2020. So the Aquaforce set just came out. This is a tier list for the current English game, not the Japanese game. We're not talking about that. None of that. Because I don't play that version. I play the English version. Aquaforce just came out, and so we're just going to go ahead and start reviewing. We're kicking this off with Angel Feather. Okay, so Angel Feather just got new support, right? Angel Feather was already pretty good, so where does it land? It's going to land in A tier. So, before I go on, I just realized I should probably give a breakdown of what each tier relatively means. S tier is best. A tier is good. B tier is viable. C tier is fringe. Everything below that, so like D tier would be low tier, bad. E tier, unplayable. F tier is uninstall. If you picked a clan to main and it's an F tier, re-roll your account, you'll be better off. So those are generally what the tiers are. Like if the clan's in S through B tier, like you can play it and you can do reasonably well, I strongly recommend playing an S tier clan because the divides in this for this game on the tiers are like really hard and really major. Like A tier clans generally cannot compete unless they get super, super lucky against S tier. Generally, an S tier clan will just beat an A tier clan. An A tier clan will beat a B tier clan. There's no like, oh, what if I play a little bit smarter? No, that's not a thing. S beats A beats B. Period. Like that's just how it. Because the game is very unbalanced still. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. And another thing to keep in mind is that these are my opinions. However, my opinions are the correct opinions, and if your opinions differ from my opinions, your opinion's wrong. So continuing, why is Angel Feather in A tier? Well, other than the fact that Angel Feather starts with A, the reason why is because damage tempo in this game it's everything. If you have tempo, you're winning. If you force your opponent to use their perfect guard first, you're going to win. If you're the one who plays grade 2s first, you're going to win. If your opponent runs out of grade 2s first, you're going to win. If you are consistently at lower damage than your opponent, you're going to win. Angel Feather just says, okay, your boss unit, Ergodial hit, cool, damage tempo is instantly. For Counterblast 2 and Persona Blast, which is not a hefty call at all. So, that is incredibly good. Has Angel Feather gotten any new tools in their toolbox? No, not really. The Metatron package is mediocre, and that's generally the problem with the rest of Angel Feather. They have a few multi-attack tools, namely Hermes, that kind of helps in them getting around intercepts, but beyond the powerful on-hit heal, they don't have much going for them. The on-hit heal is powerful enough to put them into A tier, and the rest of their stuff is fine. It's acceptable, it gets the job done, but none of it is interesting or explosive. They don't have retire power, so on and so forth. That's why Angel Feather is in here. Next, we have Aquaforce. I believe, yeah, that is Aquaforce. So Aquaforce is also going to find itself in A tier. Multi-attacking is not a good gimmick, because every time you hit your opponent, they get stronger. However, Aquaforce has reasonable tools for getting around intercepts. They can negate intercepts using the Storm Rider line. That'll do it, which is good. Not great, but good. Maelstrom itself is also good, with giving you a fairly consistent higher option. They've got enough tools beyond multi-attacking in their toolkit to bring them up to A, but again, multi-attacking not really that good of a game. So that's what keeps being an S. Bermuda Triangle. So we just got new support, and it's made the clan. We're back in F tier. Bermuda Triangle is just so fucking unplayable. Coral is the worst ride chain in the game. It is worse than Riviere. Nothing it does is helpful or beneficial. We got Pacifica. Finally, a consistent way. Eternal Idol Pacifica is a consistent multi-attack option. But again, multi-attacking is not that good of a gimmick. But it's our only way to reliably deal with our opponent's intercepts in some capacity, and it's terrible at it. It costs 2 counterblasts. Fuck, and it's a limit break, so you can only use it when you're at 4 damage or more. There's so many caveats to it that it's the best we've got. It just is. But unjokingly, I feel like the best deck for Bermuda Triangle right now is the mill deck, and mill decks just aren't viable. If you run into anything that doesn't run 9 draw for some reason, you just lose. Like, there's absolutely no fucking way Bermuda Triangle wins against S tier clans in a best 2 out of 3. It's just, you just don't. Can't fight this. It's not possible. Bermuda Triangle has automatic lose matchups against everything in S tier, everything in A tier. Just every single clan, Bermuda Triangle has a losing matchup. It has a bad matchup. Period. There is not a single clan that gives Bermuda Triangle a good matchup, no matter what deck you're playing for. It's unplayable. If Bermuda Triangle is your main, re-roll your account. You'll be better off. Next, we have DarkIrregulars. DarkIrregulars is a clan where I'm either going to put it bottom of A or top of B. I haven't entirely decided yet, because DarkIrregulars still has... No, it's A tier. It's A tier. And the reason why is DarkIrregulars' new support gives it even more consistent crit boosting options, even for the rearguard. The Witching Hour series is incredibly solid for the clan, and it still has great retire power. It has 2 different Berserk Dragon clones, and Amon is still... Amon hasn't stopped being good. And then you just have Witching Hour, which gives your rearguards extra crits. Yeah, DarkIrregulars is A tier. What's keeping it from being S tier is the fact that it soul charges. It's a very soul charge heavy clan, and a lot of its soul charges you can't control. You're going to find that sometimes your perfect guards and heals just vanish, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's what's hampering the clan right now. They remove that dependency on soul charge, and all of a sudden they're rocking with the big boys in S. Like, this is a clan. They also don't have a cross ride, and that's not helping them right now. And but they've got a recycling heal. Like, there's so many good things about DarkIrregulars, where really the only thing that I can think of that's holding it back right now is the fact that it randomly soul charges and does it a lot, and that's not super great. It doesn't have a ride chain either. It could use a ride chain, it could use a cross ride, it could use less dependency on soul charge, but overall DarkIrregulars is incredibly solid. So we've got Dimension Police. Dimension Police, I'm going to have to slide into beat. It is good, but it's a very one-minded clan. It will either be, I crit boost Unga Bunga at the Vanguard. That's generally its shtick. We did get Zeal for it, and Zeal is very, very good. Zeal gives Dimension Police retire power. Gives Dimension Police some very good retire power. Borderlining on full board. That's how good this is. It can just wipe the opponent's board for 2 counterblasts. That being said, its problem is that its retire options and its crit boosting options don't play nice together. Its cross ride also doesn't work with Zeal. So basically you have to pick, do I want to be Kagero today, or do I want to be Dimension? And there's no easy way to combine the 2 together to get the best of both worlds. That's currently hampering it. There's no recycling heal. Its retire options sometimes flub if you don't get the right cards. Yeah, there's a handful of problems to this. But overall, decent clan. And I think it's only going to get better. Let's see. Which one's this? That one's either Oracle, Think Tank, or Genesis. So I'm going... No, this one's... Royal Paladin. You know, uh, yeah, that's Oracle Think Tank. That's Genesis. That's Gold Paladin. Okay, Grand Blue. Oh man, I haven't put thought into Grand Blue in months. Geez. Now, I know that some people are going to disagree with me and say Grand Blue is the worst clan in the game, not Bermuda Triangle, but the sheer fact that Grand Blue has access to Night Mist means that it's not the worst. It has some very strong matchups, namely Bermuda Triangle. Like, Bermuda Triangle is an excellent example of a strong matchup, because any clan that does not have a consistent way to deal with intercepts is going to struggle against Grand Blue, because Grand Blue will always have 2 grade 2s in a row. That's just how the clan works. Unfortunately, its most recent limit break support with Cositis didn't give the clan anything new. Its grade 3 options are still bad, and its only good card is still Nightmare. Everything else is not good. So I'm going to have to put this I'm going to put it into D tier for now. It might slide down into E, honestly. Great Nature. So Great Nature's gimmick is inherently bad. Retiring your own rear guards, not a good game plan. You need those rear guards in place in order to not take a bunch of damage. If you wind up retiring your front row, that's a huge problem. That is a big problem, and sometimes Great Nature just retires its own front row, then dies. However, Great Nature does have a good ride chain in the form of locks. Giving your rear guards crit is very good. That is a good thing to have. Leopold can help mitigate your self-retire, which is also good. We recently got Polaris, and Polaris isn't good, because, again, restanding, not a good gimmick. I'm trying to think of what else Great Nature does that's intimidating. Like, honestly, every time I fight against Great Nature, even with Bermuda Triangle, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's good thing. So I'm gonna have to put Great Nature. And they don't have a recycling heal. They don't have retire options. I have to put, yeah, Great Nature's D tier. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I gotta put Great Nature's D tier. Yeah, I'm confident in that. Okay, so we've got Kagero. Fucking duh, right? Kagero's insane, and it's only going to get better. We all know Blockade Inferno's on the way, and it's going to complete. But even right now, you have Dragonic Overlord, which for Counterblast 3, just say, okay, your opponent, you Counterblast 3, retire both of your opponent's front row, and give this card +5. They can't do anything. It's fucking ridiculous. Dragonic Overlord's broke. Dragonic Overlord, the end, is a restanding cross ride. On Dragonic Overlord, an already good card that's 11k base. Yeah, that card's doing just fine for itself. Their ride chain, the Amber Dragon ride chain, is still good. A lot of people don't play it anymore. I don't know why. It's still good. It's still one of the best ride chains. It has access to 12k base grade 2. Like, shit. What doesn't this have? A recycling heal. That's it. That's the only thing Kagero doesn't have. But it doesn't matter when your opponent's only defense option just doesn't exist against. Yeah, play Kagero. If you don't, you're... Link Joker, not out. Mega Colony, still not out. Don't know why. Murakumo, they are not out. Still, weirdly. That's weird. One's done. Where's Murakumo, guys? Narukami. Oh, yeah. You knew this was coming. Man, you know what's really good? Making your opponent not have a front row all the time every turn. Dang. That seems like a really good thing to have and do. And negate intercepts. Hope your opponent's front row in one attack. Oh, gee whiz. Yeah, what do you want me to say? It's fucking Narukami. Yeah, of course it's S tier. Duh. Oh wait, Gold Paladin. I forgot that Gold Paladin is actually out. Jeez. Anyway, going back to Gold Paladin, don't know why I skipped it. So, Gold Paladin is now this is going to be controversial. It's why is Gold Paladin B tier? Well, it has a really good ride chain in the Spectral Duke. However, Spectral Duke is just better in Shadow Paladin. So just play him in Shadow Paladin. You can play him in Gold Paladin. I don't know why you would, but you could do that. And then you've got Blondezel. Blondezel is fine. Now, the reason why I say it's fine is that what it's doing is it's effectively drawing you cards and things. Having your boss card be all about draw power isn't really a good strategy in Zero. That's what your triggers should be doing. The draw trigger is objectively the best trigger in the game. Your deck lineup should be 9 draw for heal. Gold Paladin doesn't really want to run the draws because of how Blondezel works. So their trigger lineup is objectively weaker than everybody else's. And a plan that forces you to run not draws isn't really that good of a plan. And I can see why people would be like, oh, but if Blondezel can get you the stuff, whatever. Yeah, but there's a limit to how much Blondezel can do. And that's the big problem. So that's why a lot of Gold Paladin decks run like 4 draw, 5 crit. But then you just have an inconsistent deck, and it goes on from there. So basically what I'm saying is that Blondezel isn't all that impressive. And another reason why it's not all that impressive is that it doesn't help you deal with your opponent's inners. Nothing in Gold Paladin other than Spectral Duke Freestand helps you deal with your opponent's. You do have cards like Player of the Holy Bow Vivian that can get you attack, but it's not very consistent because it calls off the top of the deck, and you might just not get anything. It runs into problems of issues, and again, multi-attacking isn't even that good of a strategy when you could just, oh, I don't know, blow up all of your opponent's shit. So yeah, Gold Paladin, it's B. But we'll swing back to Spectral Duke when we get to Shadow Paladin. Don't worry. So Neo Nectar is basically Grand Blue, but better. It has a solid ride chain. It has recycling heal, and it can very easily and consistently call out grade 2. Which is why I'm demoting Grand Blue to E tier and putting Neo Nectar. And I think that that's fair. Neo Nectar is D tier. It is bad. But it is just better Grand Blue. So there you go. Yeah, that's the best I can say for it. Our new support, the best thing we got was Arbros, just because it's a ride chain and ride chain's good. Musketeer is turbo garbage. It's so bad. You thin your deck, and then Cecilia's like, oh, what if you put all those things in your deck out back into your deck and shuffle it? No, Cecilia. Why would I do that? Because it'll call 2 grade 3s for you? No, that's not helpful. Why would I want to call grade 3s? They don't intercept. Fucking what? No. Bad. Stop. So, D tier. Nova Grappler. Ugh. Poor Nova Grappler. Time, as I expected, has not been kind to it. Welcome to C tier, our first C tier clan. Yeah, Nova Grapplers living the rough life. Restanding, not a good gimmick, and that's becoming more and more what it is. It still has Perfect Riser, but Perfect Riser is just bad Majesty Lord Blaster at this point. Why would you play Risers when you could play Royal Paladin or Dimension Police for that matter? Yeah, Death Army, still not good. Don't have a way to deal with intercepts. What's Nova Grappler's game plan for dealing with intercepts? Oh, I can restand some guys. Cool, that's gonna work maybe one. Just too big for you to hit, and then you die. Because your opponent just retires your entire board. Hi, Kaguro. Yeah, Nova Grappler, welcome to C. Oracle Think Tank, also C tier. So Oracle Think Tank is bad. Super bad. Because it's all about drawing cards. As I've discussed previously, drawing cards is not a good gimmick. That's what your triggers are for. Also, drawing cards doesn't help you because you can't guard with them. So why would I want an excess of cards in my hand? Not doing anything. It's pointless. Just give me the cards I need to refill my front row, and that's all I need. So yeah, what's drawing a bunch of cards going to do for me? I think nothing except deck me out faster. Cool. However, Oracle Think Tank has one triple S card called Silent Tom. Because if your opponent's at 5 damage, you put Silent Tom on the board, shrug your shoulders, and say, "Yes, I win." Because there's nothing your opponent can do about it. So, yeah. Silent Tom's carrying Oracle Think Tank still has... Witches are just worse Tsukiyomi. Fight me. They're bad. Oracle Think Tank's mill deck is just worse than Bermuda Triangle's mill deck. Because they have less bounce options for Dark Cat. Yeah. Yeah, I will say that it pretty much auto-wins against the stuff below it. Just because of Tom. Welcome to C tier. Pale Moon. So, Pale Moon recently got Dreamy, the Dreamy line. And the grade 2 Dreamy Ammonite, I don't quite remember what it's called. But it's actually good. It's a real deal defense option. When it's retired, you call a copy of it from the soul. Wow, an actual answer to this S tier shit, assuming, they don't blockade it. Assuming that, cool. However, it runs out of charges really fast, because there's no way to get it from the drop zone back into. So, beyond that, what does Pale Moon have? Bad multi-attacking? Yeah, that's it. They have one good defense option, and then bad multi-attacking. You know where that goes. Hi, Neo Nectar. Yeah, it lives in Neo Nectar land, unfortunately. Welcome to D tier. We've got Royal Paladin. So, Royal Paladin's an interesting one. Not entirely sure where to put it. It's either going to be B or A. It's got decent retire options. Majesty Lord Blaster is good. But what has it got? What's it got beyond? Is it better? It's substantially better than Gold. Yeah, because it's got retire and a recycling heal and a cross run. So, welcome to A. I feel like that's fair. I'm still solid clan. So, Shadow Paladin. Shadow Paladin's got to be top of A tier. And Spectral Duke's really good with it. It's got 2 really good ride chains now. It's got solid retire power, solid draw power, great consistency, a restanding ride chain. It's all very good. However, it's not quite as good as Narukami or Kagura. Just because it lacks that little bit of bump on its retire power. A little too thirsty for that counterblast. Reason why it's down here. Oh, but Speedrobo, you're just praising how Draconic Overlord's counterblast 3. Yeah, but you basically Draconic Overlord once and your opponent loses. So that's the difference. You basically just get a free turn where they just can't do anything. Whereas with Spectral Duke, that isn't the case. With Phantom Blaster Dragon, that isn't necessarily the case as well. More things are required to go in your favor for Shadow Paladin's cards to have the same output as Draconic Overlord, just Counterblast 3, blow out front row, deal a damage to the opponent's Vanguard. Yeah, I hope I'm making sense. Okay, and Spike Brothers. So Spike Brothers recently got some really solid support. They have a recycling heal, and Dudley Emperor is very good. However, it still suffers from consistency issues. A lot of things have to be in the right place at the right time for them to be their best. Oh, Speedrobo, what are you talking about? Well, here's what I'm talking about. Dudley Emperor still only called to open rear guards. That means that you have to have rear guards in your front row that attack and run away in order for that to work. That means you have to have the right stuff in your hand when you go into your Dudley Emperor turn, maximize it. Top it off, Skydiver still has to call shit from hand. You still have to have an extra card in your hand for Dudley Emperor to work. You have to be at limit break. There's just so many things that have to go right. Your opponent has to be at the right power number. Cross rating might just fuck. There are just so many things that have to line up perfectly for Spike Brothers to be a real threat to anything on this end of the tier list, which is why it's C tier. Yeah, it's got some decent power, it's got some decent attacking, but that can only take you so far. Genuinely, its best feature is that it's got 2 recycling trees. That's its best feature. If you don't ride Dudley Emperor, you're screwed, because Jelly Beans only searches grade 2 or less Dudleys for some reason. It can't search Emperor. If you don't have Emperor, what are you going to ride? What are you going to ride? Skydiver? It doesn't do anything? Great, cool. It's not a consistent clan. So there we go. That is the tier list. I believe that covers everything. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Angrily respond as well. That's definitely good for the algorithm. Leave a comment telling me that I'm wrong. That would be great. Please do that. Dislike the video. Unsubscribe. Do not ring the bell to stay updated for notifications. And I will not see you later. Bye-bye.